Hi, this is Teresa,
Hi, this is Divan.
and this is the Spectrum Standard. So, today we're going to be speaking about introducing ourselves. I think it's very important that when we start a series like this, you know your hosts and you have to understand each other. So, I think, Teresa, you didn't say much, but I think you can actually deduce from what we spoke. Teresa's not from around here. So, Teresa, please introduce yourself. Tell us your life story. I'm very excited to hear about that.
So, my name's Teresa Hills. I am obviously British, as you can tell from my accent.
Oh, really?
I arrived here 10 years ago, 2015. Bit of a whim. Parents retired here. We came out on holiday, fell in love with Cape Town. And the people here, have to say.
So many do.
I know. Mm-hmm. And I was chatting to somebody one day and they said to me, you know, what did you do when you were in the UK? And I said I was in recruitment. And they suggested I become a real estate agent. Sell people, sell houses, big parallel there. Mm-hmm. So I joined a well-known European brand and started my training. And I was approached by another European brand to join, and as estate agents do, we tend to think the grass is always greener. Joined them, enjoyed it for a few months, but then decided to go back where I started. And from there, I was approached by a big US brand to become a team leader. Having recruitment as a background, they felt that there was a synergy there, and I started recruiting agents for them. And then from there, I gained a massive amount of experience, and they taught me such a lot, very, very big on training. And I then was sort of approached by Spectrum.
Well, that word approach is used very loosely here, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So, Teresa, that's very interesting, and I think that's where our paths actually merged on that last spot, just before Spectrum approached you.
But I think we need to learn about you now.
Okay, so as you can hear, I'm very much from around here. I'm a very Afrikaans boy. Grew up in the northern suburbs of Cape Town, and at the end of my school career, I was like, what am I going to do? I thought I was going to study psychology. And somehow I just ended up in accounting. And then that's like a huge, we don't talk about that. And into my accounting articles, my life there, I realized that it's not for me. I know I dress like an accountant, but I am not an accountant at heart.
No, yeah.
I actually like seeing people and not just figures. So then I think like with you, my career like pivoted into property by accident.
But I think most agents, if you talk to them, do end up being an agent by accident. Yeah. I don't think anyone wakes up one day and says, I want to be a real estate agent.
I've never been like at a school event where they're like, oh, what do you want to be? And they're dressed up like a nice student. I want to be a real estate agent.
No way.
That's not something someone says when they're small.
I want to be an accountant.
That happens a lot, or a fireman, but not a property professional. And then I started working as a bookkeeper for a huge property owner's book. And that kind of pivoted into rentals. That's where my whole journey in property actually launched. I ended up being the rental manager for the previous brand that we spoke about. Also learned a lot from them. And then Spectrum became part of my journey, part of our journey. And I'm at Spectrum. Absolutely love it.
We converged.
Yeah, our worlds actually. And I think it's very interesting. So let's tell the listeners to how that actually happened. Where does Spectrum come from, and how did our paths eventually lead into Spectrum?
So I think from my perspective, my experience, Spectrum sort of evolved. I think we got fed up with the lines where we were being told, this is how you have to do it. No flexibility, these are the rules, and that's it.
Yeah, and I think that the way forward from when you feel that is normally to start your own thing.
Yeah,
and I think that is one of the things that comes from being empowered, is being confident enough to understand that yes, I've got all this value add from somewhere else, but it's now time that I put it into something of my own.
Yep.
And then obviously the people we work with and we trust, investors, shareholders, they made this big business decision that let's start Spectrum.
Yeah.
A new brand with a lot of experience.
And I think that's where we are so different.
Yeah.
The agent count that we have and the possibility of changes.
Yes, I think that Spectrum is more than your local small brand.
Mum and pop shop. Yeah.
As you British people would
Yeah.
call it. I think it actually is almost like a corporate, but not with a corporate feel. We've got this big brand behind us, all of these different partners, and we're actually now at a point where we're like a established business.
Hugely established now.
Exactly.
I think the market is hearing Spectrum. When I put my cap on or my jacket and I walk in somewhere, they go, so you're Spectrum. I've seen your brand around.
Well, you can't miss the green. That's one thing I love about our brand.
I know.
Like the green is unmissable.
Thanks to our marketing gurus.
That's why we partner with the best. And I think that partnering with the best is one very important aspect of who Spectrum is. Not only do we have these different backings, but when we look at building our business, we work with people we can trust.
So talk about the change though, because it's something that I think is quite relevant with where we are right now. I mentioned before, we tended to sort of be told what to do. This is the way that you're going to do it. And one of the things that we said when we kicked back is actually not anymore. When we first set up, we started using a CRM system because it was a quick decision and we needed something to do what we needed it to do. And then we had an agent start about 3 months ago, who says, I'm not using that system. The system I use is incredible. Let me show it to you.
Yeah. So I think that's one thing that we've learned in this time at Spectrum is when we do things, we try to do it with the best intent and with the most information we can. And when we chose that previous system, it looked like the perfect answer.
No, it did.
And it was working very well. But it was almost like a V8 engine with a learner driver.
You've lost me at the V8 engine, but I understand what you're trying to say.
And then this agent joined us, excellent agent, wonderful by giving us input, and we love that because we're open to input. And he said to me, he actually stood in my office and said, Divan, I can't use that other system. I love the system I have. I'm willing to pay for it myself. And that actually got me to think, like, if an agent is willing to pay for it himself, maybe the system
must be good.
Exactly.
And you're the tech guy, so you should know.
Exactly. And this was a system that's been on our horizon before. So I said, okay, let me investigate. And it was 3 weeks. After, 3 weeks sounds quick. But in real estate, 3 weeks is long.
Yeah.
I mean, you can sell 3, 5, 6, 7, 10 properties in 3 weeks. In those 3 weeks, we did extensive research. We brought in our leadership council. We brought in our top agents looking at the system. And it just made sense. And I think that's one of the big mottos that we live by is, Spectrum is a brand, but there's no red tape. We want to make it work for the people we work with.
And the response we've had since the changeover, initially, change is hard.
Always.
It's an awkward thing, and people tend to sort of kick back a little bit. And I think we had a few of those sort of tough thing and having a little bit of a quiet moan.
Yes, I think the big thing with technology, and me being in technology a lot and having to implement it with agents, is I won't call them technophobes, but people are wary of technology.
They're scared of it.
Yeah, they tend to hesitate around it. I mean, in my case, I'm a bit younger. I'm more scared to put a number in a book.
Don't bring the age into this.
It's sensitive. We actually just had our birthdays, both of us recently, and I must say the difference is I like it. All right. So I think that they're scared of it. Me having to put in a contact into a book and have the chance of losing that book when having it on a system, that is amazing. And I think that's one thing that we know at Spectrum. Tech, not having the best and the singing and the dancing and the bells and the whistle. Tech that worked.
Thorough.
Exactly. That is important for
But
us.
I think that's where we show a strength.
Yeah.
Because of your capabilities and understanding, and the way in which we teach and train the agents, one-on-one, small groups, large groups. So when we managed this change, that was all part of the process.
Yes, and I think the thing is, it's still ongoing. Even though we're like quite into it, everyone gets to use it now. We keep training because that's extremely important for all of us.
Yeah.
So Teresa, I think as we saw our paths, we separate. I mean, you started off on the other side of the world than I did, and it all merged together. And I think one important thing I can learn from this discussion today is that our worlds can look different from each other, but in some way it can merge together and we can have a common goal. And I think that's something I would like our listeners to know about Spectrum is, although your world might look much different to ours at the moment, our world is big enough to welcome any point of view. And we love meeting new people and getting perspectives and seeing how can that enlarge in Spectrum, but also us as people.
Yeah, and I think sort of we've got such a mixture of cultures, we've got such a mixture of personalities, and when everyone gets together, the biggest thing for me here is the culture. It's something that we were taught in the last business that we worked in, and something that I'd never really felt before.
Yeah.
The backing, the support, the listening, and the fun. I mean, we do have fun, don't we?
The amount of videos I have on my phone of people dancing in the office.
Don't share those.
And then it won't be online. It's kept safe in my vault.
The tech guy holding us to ransom.
Best believe. But yeah, I think that's why it's so important. Culture is so important. I think it's so important that is actually the next thing we're going to be discussing in the next episode. So be very excited for that.
Absolutely.
We're going to discuss how culture can build your business.
Yes.
So yeah.
Brilliant.
Teresa, thanks.
Divan, thanks.
Thank you.